Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pixel and welcome to the SAPPHIRE Tech YouTube channel. Today we are going to be taking a very quick look at some gameplay of the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Open Beta running on our SAPPHIRE Nitro RX 5500 XT graphics card at both maximum and competitive settings while running at a 1080p resolution. Now before I get started, there is a couple of things that I need to mention. First of all, I'm going to be releasing 2 additional videos of the Cold War beta in the very near future. One recorded on our SAPPHIRE Pulse RX 5600 XT graphics card and the other on our SAPPHIRE Nitro Plus RX 5700 XT graphics card. Once they are uploaded, I will add a couple of cards to this video as well as include direct links in the video's description down below. Secondly, throughout this video you may notice some rather gnarly screen tearing. This is due to capturing all of our footage using an external capture card. We record our videos this way in order to avoid using recording software that would, however minor, have some negative impact on performance. Providing that you use a form of sync on your end, you shouldn't need to worry about any screen tearing. Right, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at the performance while playing at the game's maximum settings on the more traditional small team game modes. Here we found our frame rate would, for the most part, stick between around 70 and 100 frames per second, with it raising a little higher while fighting indoors. Importantly, performance felt both smooth and consistent, and thankfully, we never had to contest with any of the annoying stutters that many gamers have been reporting. If we move on over to the larger 40-player game modes, we see that generally we lose around 10 frames per second on average when compared to the smaller traditional modes. This leaves us hovering between around 60 and 90 frames per second throughout the majority of play, and again, performance continued to feel smooth and consistent without any annoying stutters. Overall, if you are somebody that likes to play the games maxed out and you simply want to target a stable 60 frames at a full HD resolution, it's looking likely that our SAPPHIRE Nitro Plus RX 5500 XT is going to be more than capable of supplying you with that experience. On the other hand, if you really don't care about the visuals and you'd rather focus on pushing that frame rate in order to maintain a competitive advantage, you're probably going to want to be running the game at more competitive settings, so let's take a look at those, shall we? Normally, when trying to get a competitive advantage, we'd basically just minimize as much as possible in order to maximize our frame rates. However, much like in last year's Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War has a bit of an issue when it comes to visibility. Bearing this in mind, we've either minimized or disabled everything other than texture quality, anti-aliasing and object view distance. Oh, and we also kept the render resolution to 100% of 1080p. Both texture quality and object view distance are set to high, whereas anti-aliasing has been set to medium. The reason why we've kept some AA is simply because the raw image that the game pumps out is incredibly noisy and filled with shimmering, making it incredibly difficult to discern distant detail. Object view distance, on the other hand, is all about minimizing popping. On the larger maps, particularly those with lots of foliage, popping can be incredibly distracting. The Call of Duty franchise has always had its fair share of camping and head peeking, but as the maps have gotten larger and more complex, this playstyle has only risen in popularity. This means that if you're going to be running around in the open, you're going to want to be constantly scanning around for movements, and when you've got objects popping in and out of existence all over the place, it's all too easy to mistake popping for enemies, or even worse, ignore an enemy on the assumption that it was just popping. When it comes to texture quality, it's more of a personal preference thing really. When set to low, I found that some enemy models would blend in with the background, whereas when set to high, I was better able to locate stationary enemies. Either way, it's not like you're going to see much, if any, difference in performance, so just go with whatever you find to be the most appealing. Now, at these settings, I'd say that, for the most part, we held a sustained minimum of around 100 to 110 frames per second. Normally, I would try to provide you with an average along with a range of what you could expect. However, the frame rate in this game is so variable that I think it would be super irresponsible for me to do so. While yes, we do see a few areas where our frame rate drops and holds below 100, these really aren't all that common, at least not in the more traditional game modes. When we jump on over to the larger game modes, things are generally much less variable. Here we find our frame rate sticking between around 90 and 120 the vast majority of the time. Obviously, it would have been nice to be able to say that we hit a stable 120 FPS, but I have to be honest, considering that this is still beta and we're yet to get dedicated drivers, I was kind of expecting performance to be a little lower. Now, before I get going, I just want to remind everybody that watches this video after the game's release that the gameplay in this video was recorded during beta and performance at launch may vary. But with that said, that is once again going to be me done for today, so thank you so much for watching. If you are new around here, please consider slapping that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified of our future uploads. You can leave any questions, suggestions or feedback down in the comment section down below, and if you like this video then leaving us a like would be greatly appreciated. For now though, from myself and everybody here at the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel, thank you so much for stopping by, and until next time, we will catch you later. Bye bye.